Hi everybody, it's Alan Lepofsky from Constellation Research, and I'm coming to you from Frankfurt, Germany, where I'm attending the international launch event for IBM Domino version 10. Let's go inside and take a look and talk about all the announcements that they're making today. So what are some of the new features that they're talking about in this release of Domino version 10? Well, one of the main things people are excited about is access to Domino-based applications on mobile devices. That, for example, means having a native Notes client running on an iPad. This gives you not only access to those applications without any additional coding, but on iOS it actually gives you access to offline data as well. So you have replication that can bring down those data, the logic, everything, and you can run those applications on those iOS devices, again, with very little modification. Now, if you do want to do modification to your applications and sort of modernize them, what they've done is they're supporting Node.js and JavaScript as well. So that allows developers to build much more modern user interfaces for those existing Domino applications. You still use all of that information in that back-end NSF database, but now a whole different breed of developers, not old school Notes developers or LotusScript developers, but JavaScript developers can create user interfaces for those applications. Now, they showed examples of taking advantage of that functionality by taking applications and embedding them, for example, in Office 365, or using brand new LotusScript classes that access the HTTP engine of Domino and publishing or pushing information between Domino-based applications and Watson Workspace, the group messaging client, or Slack, or even Microsoft Teams. And to do that, all you have to do is be able to get access to a token over in those environments. You bring that webhook over and your developers sort of plug the two different platforms together, and now instantly you can access your Domino-based information inside those group messaging clients. So that's a big win for extending the value or modernizing the value of your Domino applications to a whole nother set of different user experiences. On the administration side, people are excited about things like self-healing clusters for those Domino servers, so improving that cost of ownership, improving that uptime, and the scalability and security. And finally, one of the things they're talking about is Domino query language. Again, it's a back-end thing, it's not for end users, but speeding up the ability to find and locate information across Domino databases. For example, today they talked about an application going from a 7-second lookup time to less than a quarter of a second. So we're talking magnitudes increase in speed. Now, while I mentioned how great it is that Domino applications are going to be able to push their data into other tools, like Slack, like Microsoft Teams, it's a great start, and it's great that developers are going to be able to build this on the Domino side, but what I'd ideally like to see is that these applications become part of the catalogs inside of those applications. So inside the Slack marketplace or inside the Microsoft Teams catalog, for example, to have end users be able to go in and select Domino as a destination, and then simply point and click, choose a server, choose an application, for example, and then have those things tied together. So, great announcement for version 1, being able to build these things on the Domino side and publish that information into Slack and Microsoft Teams and Watson Workspace, but I really hope we see the evolution of that where these tools actually become part of the catalog inside those group messaging clients. I think that will really help extend that out to a larger audience. So now, while I mentioned there's a lot of great new features, both for end users like mobile access and that self-healing servers for administrators, the real question is, who is the target audience for this release? And the way I look at it is there's several categories. The first is obviously IBM is looking after their existing customer base. They want to make sure people are getting the most value from their existing Domino environment. Now, with that existing customer base, the second group is those people they want to make sure to upgrade and start to add even more value. They want to continue with the applications they have, but start to build brand new applications. That's obviously the hope of IBM, is how can they grow the user base they have within their existing customer segment for Notes and Domino. Now, continuing along with those existing customers, they'd also love to upsell the rest of the IBM portfolio. For example, integrations with Connections and with Watson Workspace. So you're still going to continue to hear about integration points between those products. Now, ultimately, obviously, the goal for IBM is also to land new customers, so to expand that customer base to a whole new set of prospects in different industries and in different verticals. Now, to get those new customers and those new partners, they have to do a lot of things. They have to work on things like templates, documentation, code samples. They have to show the value of why that partner ecosystem is going to be building in that Notes and Domino environment. So I've talked about some of the big news items like mobile access via iPads to allow people to access information, self-healing servers that are in the background, but where do I feel IBM really fits into this marketplace? If you think about it, Notes apps started off as the first rapid application development environment, or one of the first, where users could easily create applications and get up to speed. And that's what was really the strength of Notes early on in the early days. Business partners would build applications, companies could build applications of all sort, and then that rapid application development sort of gave way to a movement which they call citizen development. That world is now called low code or no code. And as an analyst, when I look at a market, I want to find out if things are really happening in that space. And in the low code, no code market, there's a lot of things taking place. There's several companies with double-digit, multi-million-dollar funding rounds. There's acquisitions taking place as big companies are being acquired that are building things. There's new entrants into this space, and then there's reemergence of some of the tools that have been strong contenders for many, many years. If I look at the convergence of all of those factors, new companies, reinvigorated companies, funding, mergers, acquisitions, that tells me that this is a market that customers are interested in. If venture capital firms are investing money into this space and companies are doing mergers and acquisitions, that means customers are asking for this type of functionality. And that's great to see that IBM is reinvigorating this environment and their business partner ecosystem and really focusing on Domino on its core strengths of a rapid application development environment. Now I look forward to seeing where they go with today's, just the launch of version 10. There's a lot more they say on the roadmap to follow after that, but I think there's a good start here, both from a marketing perspective, something you didn't really hear out of the IBM Notes world for quite some time, as well as technical, what they're developing, what they're building, and what the roadmap looks like. So this has been Alan Lepofsky from Constellation Research, coming to you from the Notes and Domino version 10 launch in Frankfurt, Germany. Hopefully you see that IBM is, sort of all in on this application development environment, and we'll see what customers think. Okay, Alan Lepofsky, speak to you online. Bye.